Hello, 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 and welcome back. It's Monday on Electricpreneur Secrets, the Electricians Podcast. We're on Ironman episode number 119. I don't think we've missed one. 5 days a week. Me and my co-host, Joseph the Salesbot Lucani, have been here helping you in your electric business. Master your sales, simplify your pricing, and deliver premium level electrical service. Joseph, how are you doing today?
I'm having a great day, man. We had an absolute fire RSS session where we were banging out options and going left and right. So I felt like I am in my element. I'm full of energy and I'm ready to serve at the highest level.
I love that, man. Great energy on the beginning of the week.
I know, right? I was going to say, when you're a parent, the weekends don't really count as weekends. It's like I've got 5 days of work and then I've got 2 days of work followed by 5 days of work.
Yeah,
So you
just
just
cleaning
keep
up
going all
different
the time.
messes, man.
Yeah, there's different messages from different people.
For those listening to this that wouldn't know what RSS is, can you please explain quick?
Sure. So we have a session that's twice a week called the Roundtable Support Session. And the benefit is that all our inside track members can gather and it's literally like a brain think. Like we can all just sit down and come up with different solutions. One of the cool ones today was imagine you're surrounded with a bunch of electricians that are all operating in the same industry at the same level. How much more powerful would your presentations be? So today we designed 300 amp services, 200 amp services, generator quotes, portable generator quotes, and we literally did them in detail where we went through step by step what they look like, how they should look, and then so far as even role playing some of the situations of how to communicate these lines to the customers. So it was fire.
It was a fire session. Yeah, I love those. I love the open nature of them. And I love that people come for transformations, but they stay for the support. It's just there's nothing else like this. So of course we have a healthy bias towards that. It is our program, it is our podcast. So you guys may have heard us talk about this before. Let me address something else before we jump into this offer shift, which is a big topic today. Let me address your mindset because it's Monday. You've got all this energy, and it was something that kind of came up early in the RSS session actually, and it comes up every Monday. The first time you hear it, hey, how are you doing today? I feel like we all in this Western civilization anyway, and maybe all over the world. I know we've got some guys in Australia listen now too. You guys got to confirm this with us if this is real over there too. But when you're asked how you're doing Monday morning, what's the knee-jerk reaction?
I mean, it depends on whether you're in uniform or not, because I can imagine it's like, it's fucking Monday, right?
I always think like no matter what, I'm constantly battling with intent here because it's always the knee jerk to case of the Mondays. It's Monday, you know, I don't expect things to go right on Monday. What a terrible, terrible setup. Wouldn't that be bad to think that way every Monday of the year? How are you ever going to have a great Monday? I leave it to chance. If good things happen, hey, that's awesome. That's a bonus, but I'm not going to plan for it. It's Monday.
Yeah. I mean, literally, have you ever seen a movie called Office Space? They literally talk about going through. It's like, sounds like someone's got a case of the Mondays. It's like, what if someone said that to you? Nah, that gets them messed up. That's no, we're not okay with that.
Yeah.
But that's the point. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. It could be Friday, it could be Monday, it could be Thursday. Your intention is the vehicle that's going to get you where you're going.
Yeah. That's what I love. Every day you tend to say it's a great day to have a great day.
It's true.
And it is a great way to start the day. And I think when people first hear that, especially in the trades, right? We got some rough around the edges cats in our trade, right? No different than any other. Edwin says it's always a good day. Absolutely. Always a great day to have a great day. But when I hear other people in our program start saying that, you know, there's something to it. They're not just copying. People are recognizing. We don't spend a ton of time discussing it. But ultimately, like if you want to go back out and replicate that best sale you had, if you want to go back out and replicate that best day you had, how are you going to do that on a Monday if the start is case of the Mondays?
It's not going to work. And really, the mentality of it's a great day to have a great day was actually taught to me by one of my close friends and mentors. His name is Josh Lupo, but we were working with him and he's pretty much always had this positive energy all the time. Like no matter what it was, no matter what happened, markets up, markets down, he's happy. And I remember just asking, because he was always saying, it's a great day to have a great day.
Yep.
And eventually I realized that it's not the words. It's you saying, no, I'm drawing a line saying, I'm going to have a good day by hell or high water. I'm going to make this the best day that I can. And I feel that if you can approach every day with that mentality of, no, this is the line and we're going to do this, it makes you overcoming it almost an expectation. That makes sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. And Josh Lupo is a great cat. Happy to hear a little shout out to him on this episode. So thank you for spelling that out, Joe. I think that was a worthy conversation. We have touched on some of this before, even dare I say that ties into our Apex attraction method, right? Like if you want to recruit electricians in this age, you've got to have a little something to go with. You've got to have a little extra stuff. You got to have a little charisma in your brand identity, but also in every step. People want to work with good people who care. Now that's a whole big rabbit hole that we're going to avoid today. But we've got a big topic, so why don't we jump into that? This offer shift mentality. And actually it came up this morning in perfect timing. And guys, if you're listening to us right now or today on the replay on your favorite podcast site, please leave us some feedback there. Let us know how we did. But this whole week is going to be dissecting your offer to help you guys build up from this bottom floor. Most of us are building from the ground up, Joe. Most of us are starting new businesses. There is some science and some health to say that you could buy a business that's already past the first floor. You could buy a business that's been on the first floor for a while and just make some adjustments. But either way, if you're in this ground floor, and what do I mean by this ground floor, Joe?
So the ground floor is a business that is not a well-oiled machine that can pass the fishing test. It means that you are someone that needs to show up in order to make things work. You yourself are the one behind the helm. You're the one turning it. You're the one making it go. If you step away, you're leaving it unmanned. That's a ground floor operation.
Yeah, I love that. It tends to roll up these three major components, at least for electrical businesses. And of course, what we're going to overlook here, guys, is actually execution, because I know you guys are capable and it kind of lumps into this. But really, we're talking about your offer, what we're dissecting this week. That's actually including your pricing and your options. We're going to go into that next. Your marketing and your sales. Now, if you get all three of those right and you're able to automate them, guess what? You could step back, again, assuming execution is going well, quality's up to snuff. But as a premium service provider, that's kind of part and parcel to this, right? So this offer piece. Now, every day we come on the show and we say, hey, we're going to help you master sales, simplify pricing, and deliver premium level service. Well, that service and that pricing really add up and build this offer out. And many times we've talked about presenting 6 options. And those 6 options are really, it's deceiving in the sense of like, it feels like part of the sales package, doesn't it? Like part of the sales process, rather. Would you agree with that? And how would you begin to distinguish that actually 6 options probably belongs in the offer category a little bit?
So that's actually a great point to bring up, and I'd love to touch on it. So the biggest misconception with options is that you're offering just more of the same. Right? You're like, okay, I'm going to offer this and a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And then like, you're just offering better material. And then as a result, that's how you got to your 6 choices. I want to break the fog here and say it's actually 6 different ways of doing an installation. And as a result, what you're able to do is you're able to appeal to a wider range of clients that can be served at different levels. And can I touch base on a little bit more?
Of course. Yeah. Jump in.
So let's say, sake of argument, you were to show up to a mega mansion, right? You like everything's, they got a Rolls Royce in the driveway. Everything's beautiful. Normally you'd walk in expecting to them only take a premium choice. So as a result, you would walk in and only present the best. But the funny thing about stuff is that stuff doesn't mean wealth. Stuff could just mean debt. They could have second financed that home and that Rolls Royce is the collateral.
Some of the richest people I've known, you see at the grocery store, look like anyone else who shopped at, well, in Canada, Mark's Work Warehouse, which would be plaid jackets and jeans.
Yeah. And the thing is, it doesn't matter what you look like. But if you were to offer a range of choices from like, you know what, this is the finest, but I'm also going to show you the most economical because I don't know what your situation is. What you've done is you've now been able to allow this customer a range of ways to say yes. They now have a choice of saying yes in more options than they would have otherwise.
Yep.
On the other side of the coin, you could walk into a trailer park, which I'm not speaking down to, but I'm saying that usually the stereotype is like, oh, they're not going to buy. But I've had some of my biggest sales in trailer parks. Some of my best customers, they're literally like the 3 feet of grass and tarps on the roof and jacked up cars. Like, I get it. But if you didn't offer them a premium choice, they would have no means of taking a premium choice. So once again, this is not just a sales process. This is an offer process.
And I love that you brought up the trailer park because it reminded me, one of our clients, Jason's literally building his business with a big bulk of the work over the last couple months being from a trailer park. And it just keeps coming and it keeps coming at his offer, not an adjusted offer, not a discounted offer, at the pricing we designed since being in this program for him to build his business. So I love that you said that. I love where we're going, because no matter what happens here, if you've put intention into that offer and you've designed that pricing to build a sustainable, growing company to the direction that you want, then I don't care who comes to the table with money, because I know the value we bring. I know the pricing, I know the offer we have, and it must be good because people keep buying it. And so I really want to take that and that energy and that momentum and focus a bit on some of the emotional stuff that happens around the offer and how that gets in the way, and how that could actually really begin to impede us from our journey and cause self-doubt and all sorts of other roadblocks and obstacles along the way. Is that fair, Joe?
Sure, I'm all for it.
Okay. So early on in this offer design, and we're going to keep calling it offer now, guys. So that's including the pricing, it's including the options. This can feel foreign to many. And there's kind of a couple examples that I see in this. There's sort of the old dog, new tricks, people that have been in the trade for decades, but haven't experienced this level of enhanced value, enhanced pricing, enhanced offer. You getting a visual of that person with me right now?
Yeah, I can almost see what they're wearing right now too.
So typically they're underpaid and overworked because they do have a lot of value. They've got a ton of confidence. They know what they're out there bringing to the table. And so they're full. They're probably a month or two out. And quite often when we talk to those people, they'll say things like, oh, I'm busy as I've ever been. I don't need marketing. Work just keeps
all
coming.
Word of mouth.
We've never slowed down. But in further analysis, you start to realize that there's some breakdowns there, and that they are quite overworked and that they are quite underpaid because they're not growing.
If you were busy 12 months of the year and you never had to do anything, I mean, it should be established that you're growing your business.
Yeah.
And there's obviously strategies we can do to help with that, but like, it almost hurts when I hear that, right? Like, doesn't it hurt your soul in a way where someone's like, yeah, I'm booked out. I've been busy for the past 12 months. Well, how's your profits doing? It's like, well, actually I had to take a loan on this because, you know, the economy's bad. It's like, that doesn't line up. You're busy for 12 months.
Yep. 100%. There's a few different examples of this. Another one is the underworked and underpaid. Where, often this can be a confidence issue. People coming into the market, new entrants. These are the type of people that would phone around their community, find what other people are charging. That old chestnut, right? Oh yeah, how much to get an electrician to do XYZ? And they're like, oh yeah, $110 an hour. And so this type of electrician, newer with the lesser confidence, might then go, oh, well, I'll just charge $105 an hour and I'll do a little more. You ever see that before, Joe?
Honestly, yeah, because I was that guy at one point. We had an older electrician that we were following in our heads and be like, well, how long would it take him to do this job? We should just price it at how long it would take him. It doesn't matter how long we take, but he could probably do it faster. So we should price at what he was going to do. And it never worked out. And it always made us feel inadequate every single time. So I get, if you're that guy, I want you to know I was that guy too. I get it.
100%. 100%. And so either of those we would consider emergencies because they both have challenges on this first floor. And they kind of meet in a similar place though, because the one who's overworked and underpaid is just so used to it and so caught up in the old ways that it can be very difficult to unlearn and trust something new. Have you ever experienced that with anyone, Joe?
Oh my God. Yeah. So you have someone where even if you had the right thing and it was everything that they were looking for, because it's different than what they were expecting, their knee jerk is be like, well, hold on here. This isn't what I was expecting. A lot of times what you'll find is that's actually in homeowners associations where like you'll go in and you'll make everybody make a presentation to like the handyman or like the general maintenance person. And they're like, what do you mean you got multiple ways? You mean you're willing to go and talk to the board? Like you're not just going to give it to me? It's like, no, we're here to make your job easier. In fact, you can even come with me and then we'll all do it together. And you can just see like the gears turning and it's like, I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah,
works.
absolutely.
It's a great point.
And I think one of the other telltale signs in this department is when they tend to come back with a, well, what do I do with my old clients? If my offer's changing, how I'm presenting it, I can't just go offer someone that usually just hires me. Like I don't even give them a price. You'll hear often, right? I just show up and they pay the bill. And that is a big red flag, ladies and gentlemen. That's really dangerous for your business, for you, for your reputation. Why is that, Joe?
So the biggest problem is that when you're not willing to grow and you're willing to anchor yourself to existing clients, you're pretty much saying that I'm never going to raise my price. And if I do, I'm somehow obligated to them, that I work for them exclusively, like they're my boss. And they're not going to give me a raise. And therefore, I'm not going to be able to ever find new clients at different rates. Realistically, you're being paid for the quality of service that you provide. You have a good reputation, you do good workmanship, you are personable, and you're reliable. If you're those things, you're already drastically better than the average contractor. So if they come by and you were previously $100 an hour, but you realize that you now need $195 in order to even break even, you showing up at a price at $225 now suddenly makes sense. But why should that client who already loves you and wants you at the next barbecue for 4th of July is saying, no, I'm going to go with someone cheaper, even though I've liked everything you've done and I feel like you're part of the family, I still would go with someone else because they're $95 less. It doesn't make sense as a provider. What kind of relationships are you really fostering then?
Yeah. And then there's another reality that business is cyclical. We really do talk about lifetime client value a lot, but if that lifetime client value isn't adding in proportion to the rate of your new growth structure to be everything that you want to be, then there's only so many options here. And I don't mean options as in what you're presenting. I don't mean refining it further to discount, because that's often what we'll see is, well, I just have a bucket of clients over here that I still charge my old rates, that I still present my old ways, that I'll still do time and material for. But meanwhile, they're taking 20, 30, 40 hours a month out of your business. Sometimes less, sometimes more. But either way, at the end of the year, this is death by 1,000 cuts. How many of these old customers do we honor before we just find there's no room for new ones?
So there's actually something very important that I want to touch on, if it's okay, when it comes to talking about pricing and what you do with your new clients. Because once again, I mentioned I was this guy, right? When we were talking about raising our rates, I truly thought that our clients were going to come with pitchforks and torches. Like I really thought that going from 165 to anything above that was going to be absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah.
But we went from 165 to 250 and lost no one. Same customers, lost no one. The only time we started losing people was when we started getting over 300. And even then, it wasn't even the majority of our clients. It was the small ones at the bottom that were like, oh yeah, the ones that I only used you because you were trunk slammers back when you were like a year one business working for nothing. Yeah, if you're less than that, if you're not more than that, I'm not going to work with you. Those are the people that fell behind. But they were replaced with people who wanted to work with a level of service. Yes. And that's the solution.
100%. I couldn't agree more. So in this case, you got to grow or you're going to be stuck. You spinning tires as long as you allow it to happen. as I've heard and I've reiterated before, let me make sure I get this right because I haven't said this one in a while. Put it together in my head. We don't become the greatest. We don't become the greatest being that we imagine. We fall to the lowest standards that we accept. Does that make sense, Joe?
Yeah, it does. Pretty much what I'm understanding there is if you set a standard for yourself, that's great. Like you can always thrive and succeed. But when you go into autopilot, that autopilot is going to revert to the lowest acceptable standard that you'll be like, yeah, this is my Monday morning performance level. Yep. Right. And that's what you'll fall to. But if you're always saying it's a great day to have a great day and every day deserves 100%, then your minimum becomes that 100%.
Yeah, definitely. So now let's jump back to the other candidate we talked about, the other avatar, which was the newer, less confident, price shock, options shock. This whole thing is just so new. And how do I go present this when I'm still doing work for family and friends and my early entrant customers? Can I really get established before I've got a van wrap, before I've got the full website? Can I actually charge this premium rate to build that company up when I'm feeling this pull to compete at $150 a fixture?
100%. And I can explain why.
Okay.
So there's a concept known as act as if, right? Where the main thing is that you are going in and assuming that you are already what you were trying to become. Because if you, I don't know who the one who said it. I think was it Jim Rohn, but it's, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Where you're going to go through this and say like, all right, I may not be a premium provider now, but that doesn't mean that I have to be Tank Top Terry until suddenly there is a switch and I'm suddenly transformed into a caped crusader. Like it doesn't work like that. You have to be able to say, I am going to be this person. And as a result, I need to charge these rates. This is what I have to do. And to say, this is what I'm doing. This is what it is. Regardless of who I meet, this is the level I'm going to perform at.
That makes sense? To be absolutely, and just to be ultra clear and tie these both together because they're the same problem coming from a different angle. And if you're listening, you might feel a knife turning in you right now. That's not our intent to make you feel awful or feel shamed or embarrassed. It's our intent to shed light and have you see what's really happening from the 30,000 foot view here. At the end of the day, Joe, it's very important to note that it does not matter. Here's the tie together. It does not matter where you live, because you hear that. People say, well, I can't charge that over here. Yeah, but if you live there and your bills add up as they do for people that live there, and you've envisioned the business that you want to have, and on a piece of paper even, or a spreadsheet, you've added those numbers up, or our pricing tool, by the way, throw that out there. You can grab that for free on our Electropreneur group on Facebook or at our website, serviceloopelectrical.com. You can get that price tool to help you with this exercise. You're going to input numbers from your life, from your area. Don't worry about what other people are charging, because if they're not charging what you are, it's a different business. It's a different model. And either it's that or they're unsustainable. We could all race to the bottom, as we've talked about so many times. But at the end of the day, you have to design a life or you'll fall into someone else's plan. And you know what someone else has planned for you.
Not much.
Not much. So why wouldn't the same be true for your business? Right? Like, let me just ask a couple thought-provoking questions that might hurt a little bit. Can I do that for a moment?
Go for it. My heart is exposed.
Guys, what is your 1-year plan in your business? Where do you want to be in 12 months? Where do you want to be in 1,000 days, 3 years? Do you have a 1, 3, and 5-year plan? Do you know what your business looks like in a decade? Did you know that exit strategies are best planned when you're starting? Do you have insurance to cover you adequately in the case of something happening to your personal health? Do you have a plan? Do you know where you're going? And if you answered yes to all those, I commend you. That's fantastic. Now, let me ask you the really hard one. Have you done the math, and does the offer match the plan? Is this thing going to fund where you're going? Does your offer bring the value forward that will cause that exchange on routine? So that at least 80% of the time, I shouldn't say at least, but around 80% of the time, people will do the handshake. They'll do the exchange. They'll sign off on it and have no remorse. Mm-hmm. If you have that stuff figured out, then I would say you've got a healthy trajectory to get off of the first floor. But if they don't have that, Joe, what are we talking about here?
I mean, if you don't have anything that gets you off the first floor, it's almost like being a handicapped person and not having a ramp. It's like, or even better, I know you're a gardener. Imagine you being a pot of plant, you're a potted plant, and that plant pot is not going to grow. In other words, the roots will literally just fill its capacity and it's going to die because it can't grow beyond what it needs. That happens to young businesses that are not willing to expand. Every single one of us that had a plant that was literally the roots are coming out the top, you would take it and you would put it in a bigger vessel. Our businesses need that same love and attention. But if you thrive, you starve yourself of that, which is what you're doing by undercharging, your roots are the only ones that wither and die. So are you willing to allow the company roots to wither and die because you won't water
it? 100%. Very accurate, very thought-provoking. Kimberly loves that analogy. Thank you, Kim, for chiming in there. Guys, I know that we've come and we've asked some hard questions today. We're going to give you a couple action items now. We're going to finish this episode up because we've got a whole week of dissecting this offer to help build you up, to build your electricpreneurial journey to surpass this first floor. Now, I got to ask, would it be wrong of us to want to do that for you?
No, sir, it would not.
All right. I got the first action on this one. You thinking I'll start? You got anything?
Yeah, go for it.
I've already mentioned it, guys. I'm going to touch on it again. We ought to have this vision. What does this company look like for you? Where is it going? What do you want? That seems to be the hardest question to answer. Mm-hmm. And once you figure that out, then we can start to look at this offer again and say, does A equal B? Will this add up over time? Do I have a plan to increase it, to make it add up over time? Mm-hmm. These are hard questions, guys, but I really, 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 I'm begging you to take the time to answer that for yourself, for your business, for your family, for your future staff or your current staff. This stuff's important. Joe, did you come up with anything while I was rambling on there?
I got something.
All right, man.
So the all-star action actually happens up here, but I feel like it's required if you're really going to take this and thrive at it.
Yeah. Because
the thing is we can give you the price tools, we can give you the strategies, we can give you all the things, a physical map, roll it out like a cartographer and say, this is where we're going. But if you don't believe that you're worth where the destination is going, you'll never take the single step. So the thing is whether you're 100, 200, 300, 500, 600, I don't care. However much that number is, you first need to be able to believe that you're worth that number. The real thing about sales and any kind of scalable business is that you need to be the first person who's sold on it. You need to see that number and be like, that's actually less than the value that I'm providing. Or at the very least, you could say, yeah, it's a lot, but I know for a fact that I'm worth that and that my client will receive good value as a result. If you can do that and you can shift into that mind state, you're more likely going to be more confident and less likely to be stumbled when your customer comes at you with a price objection.
Absolutely. And we're going to go right into that on the next episode, guys. I hope you took some massive value away today. I hope you do some massive introspective thinking. And I hope to see you again tomorrow on the Electricpreneur Secrets, the Electricians Podcast, where we're helping you master sales, simplify pricing, and deliver premium level electrical service. I could not do that without my partner, Joseph. and all of you. So thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
I look forward to it. Take care, guys.